let's hop into this poor, okay, from what I understand is that these two people were shopping and maybe there was an altercation between someone. I don't know what happened really. All I know is there's a group of people who completely beat down a couple. Let's just start. Let's just see what we can take a look.
Well, I don't know what you do with the people standing around watching, but there are at least 5 suspects charged in connection.
Nothing. You don't do anything with the people standing around watching. What are you gonna do? Like, charge them with some type of bullcrap crime? No, you know what's happening? They're afraid of the crazy people that are running amok, and they're afraid that if they call 911 and those crazy people see those people calling 911, guess what? They're gonna become targets of said crazy person. So I'm sorry, I don't agree with that premise on, I don't know what you do with everyone watching. Nothing. You know what I would do? I'd probably walk around the corner and call the cops, but I'd make sure that no one was looking at me. And even then, it's still sketchy, you know?
With the violent Cincinnati brawl that left 2 people seriously injured on Saturday night. The Trump administration is suggesting this should be treated as a hate crime investigation.
I don't know, man. Just because it has to do with like two separate groups of people having an altercation, it might be. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't think we should just start off with that.
And while it remains unclear what led to the attack exactly, it is very clear about how violent it got. One of the most disturbing parts of the story is how many people were just standing around watching. Well, clearly not just watching, because we have so many video of it. They were on their phones. One person called 911.
Ooh, that doesn't sound really good, does it? No, I mean, I can't blame those people. I mean, not calling the cop. Filming, I get it. I would understand for the perspective of filming for your own safety. But that's if you're trying to get away. Even then, that's still kind of weird, but it's kind of ugly, the fact that people would rather get clicks, and I mean, I can, look what I'm doing. But I wouldn't video someone, getting completely beat down over calling the cops. I'd probably just get out of there first off, and then probably call the cops when I'm out, but I don't know. We'll see.
And here's a warning. Some of what you'll see obviously is disturbing, maybe even graphic. So now let's go to Brian Yenis, who's in the studio to take us through all of this. Brian, this video went viral, and parts of it are really hard to watch.
Yeah, absolutely very difficult to watch, Harris.
Well,
the charges against the 5 suspects are sealed, and we don't even know yet how many, if any, have been arrested. Cincinnati's police chief says we can anticipate, though, more charges against more people. Now, look, the video shows a white man being punched and kicked by a group of black people in downtown Cincinnati on Saturday at 3 a.m. The police have not said how or why this started. The police chief says alcohol played a significant role.
Oh, so we're just going to let them go scot-free because they can claim insanity because they were drunk? Is that how it works? So you're telling me all right, so your premise is false. If you're driving down the street and you get in a wreck because you're drunk, are you still responsible? It's the same thing. You can't. No.
And they've characterized it as a sudden dispute following a verbal altercation. Now, in the brawl, a woman appearing to try to protect the man is sucker punched by another man, appearing to be knocked unconscious. Cincinnati's police chief says 100 people watched.
Who the hell is screaming, oh? Is the person recording screaming, oh, like this is a good thing?
Or were involved, yet only one person called.
This is actually really freaking disgusting. The fact that her stuff is out, she's knocked unconscious, and no one's helping her at all. They're just filming her getting beat down. I understand why people are pissed off that no one's helping her. It looks really bad, and there's a part of me that says someone needs just to stop this. But again, there's just a part of me behind me telling me in the back of my head, if you help this person, you're next. And you know what? I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here. I'm sorry. Why do we have to live in this society where 1% of the population commits like 60% of the crime? Why are we afraid of just locking those people up? Why can't we do what El Salvador did? Seriously. This is animalistic behavior.
911.
I think what they should be angry about is nobody called the police. That is unacceptable, to not call the police when you view this. Traffic was horrendous. People saw this. They were fighting in front of traffic. Why didn't somebody call us?
Vice President J.D. Vance spoke about this.
Again, I'll tell you another time, they were afraid of repercussions of the people beating down those people. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't care what was said in that altercation. that was a beatdown and that was awful. No. I don't think we should have to live in society where people are afraid of people like, you know.
Yesterday, while in Ohio, listen.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. When you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time.
The Trump
fucking based. I don't care what started that argument. You're a military-aged young man. You sucker punched a mom potentially on the concrete. I think you can be. Oh wait, let's take a look at this. Our federal hate crimes laws. Hate crime? It might be. I don't know. You know what? I'll say it. I'll say it because no one else wants to say it. If the laws were reversed, if the races were reversed straight up, this would be world news. This would be national headlines, world news, on every single network, CNN and MSNBC, whatever it is, even Fox. Every single one of it, every single one of the networks would be screaming off the top of their lungs, look at this hate crime. So I can understand why the quote-unquote right side, they're trying to apply that, because if you're... That's one thing I actually really like about a lot of content creators. They have great sayings, and one of the legendary content creators is Asmongold, and he says, well, don't be surprised when you bring a circus to town that everyone starts acting like a clown. Or he says something like that. I probably messed it up, but the concept is there.
Administration's Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, suggested hate crime charges could be filed. Quote, our federal hate crime laws apply to all Americans. We at Civil Rights will monitor closely how...
And I'm not saying that it isn't, but I'm not saying it is. It potentially could be, but we'll have to find out.
Local authorities handle this attack. Now, Harris, Cincinnati Police Chief, warned yesterday the social media video does not depict the entire incident. One video, for instance, we've seen shows other people that perhaps were being beaten down as well, not just the one man. And I will also point out that there has been criticism from Republican Senator Bernie Moreno against the mayor, Purval, of Cincinnati for waiting, what he says, 2 days to release a statement. And he says that he had not contacted any of the victims as of yesterday when that statement came out.
Well, look, it doesn't surprise me that we're going to see...
He didn't contact them probably because they were fucking unconscious in the hospital. He wanted to give them at least a day to just reflect on what happened to him or just bounce back, adjust. It's kind of a life adjustment when you get beat down in front of the public. And yeah, that was a scene. Yeah, I would give them a day too.
The proceeds of more video and all of this. We should see a lot.
The last thing you want is your freaking mayor coming in. Oh, you're not gonna say what happened to you, right? You're not gonna expose what our actual laws are. Like, that's the last thing you want coming in when you're broken after you just got beat down by like 7 men.
People were standing around with their cell phones taking pictures and videos instead of calling for help. I
That is
understood
pretty
it took
bad,
6
though.
minutes for anybody to get there, and there was no ambulance in the area. I mean, that woman on the ground, that's a lot. Brian, thank you.
Of course.
Emily, I know that they will bring in more evidence in all of this, but as you look at this is a crime scene.
Yeah.
Yes. First of all, I would never use words like fight or brawl. I would use words like attack, assault. I would charge this, first of all, with attempted murder. Because
Yeah. I would too, actually. I would, yeah. On the concrete, people die by blunt force trauma to the head all the time. Knocking a woman out on solid asphalt or the concrete, her head hits the ground, he's dead. Happens, I mean, that, I'm not saying this happens all the time, but people hit their head on the ground all the time and die. It's a real thing. So, yeah. Or attempt to manslaughter. You gotta do something with these people. You need to, like, accountability. Personal accountability. This will not stop until you, not literally, you figuratively, I can't speak. You figuratively publicly hang them. Not literally. But you make a couple examples out of these people, and it'll stop. Send these people to jail. This ends.
we've seen what one-punch murders can be. This was horrifying. This deserves no place in society. Ohio State has complicit laws, so if you take part in a group beating...
Wait, this shit happened in Ohio? My dad's from Ohio. That's crazy.
Then everyone is responsible and on the hook for those that you see on those myriad cameras recording this. So I certainly would charge everyone with the attempted murder. I would charge them with felonious assault. I would charge with them everything under the book. And Harmeet Dillon is absolutely right that if the state doesn't get it right, and I'm not holding my breath, then step in with hate charges at the federal level. This was nauseating to watch. And the amount of tiptoeing around that we have seen from anyone but the vice president and representatives of the federal authorities is so disheartening to boot. So you're telling me it was a fight when you see 100 people, 100 black people beating up 2 white people, and you're not, what if this was 100 white people beating up 2 Asian people?
She's afraid of saying it. She's afraid of saying what I literally just said a couple minutes ago. What if the races were reversed? What if it was 100 white people attacking 2 black people? National news. I'm sorry, I paused it on that face. Whoops.
I think it would be pretty clear. There is no place for this in our civilized society, and the fact that Cincinnati downtown in that area was bare and devoid of law enforcement, that is on the shoulders of that police chief, Terry, and there is so much more accountability to be had. That woman was a single mother who was just attending a birthday party. Now she's fighting for her life.
Ooh. Oh, man. Yeah, that's not so good, is it? Why can't we lock people up for shit like this? Seriously. This is ridiculous. That's... Nah, man. Okay.
To the cheers of those 100+ people, and now we're going to have to pay for their 3 square meals a day, by the way, in prison going on.
Make them work. Make them work. Make them rebuild roads. Make them... This is going to sound rough. Put them in the fields. Put them on the roads. Put them on the railroads. Make them work. Make them do something that they don't want to do. I'm not advocating for slavery. What's that called when you self-admit into a hospital? It's self-admitted slavery. When you break the law, you forfeit your rights, you go to jail. America doesn't have to take care of you. I don't know why the premise is we have to take care of them like they're just sitting on the bed somewhere watching their gym mate, cellmate do something to himself that no one wants to see. Maybe he enjoys it. He's in jail. He hasn't been out of jail for freaking 15 years, sitting on his ass, doing nothing, eating food. How about this? How about we turn that guy into a productive citizen again by forcing him to work and giving him a reason not wanting to come back? It's ridiculous. Put these people in jail, make them work, and give them a reason not to do the shit that they're doing. All this will stop. All of it stops when you do that. Now, of course, you'll have some anomalies where people will just come out and just start shooting because some people are batshit crazy. But, you know, it is what it is.
That's what they're going to get. They're going to enjoy the royal treatment in prison. So no matter how you look at this, there's going to be zero accountability for those monsters.
Well, unless they get a soft on crime policy deal. I mean, that's what we, you know, where is the justice? Can it be meted out the way Emily said? And if the feds get involved, I totally get that. Pierce.
Yeah, sickening on so many levels. We don't know the whole story. But what we do know is the police chief went out.
In my opinion, the story really doesn't matter on what was said at this point. That's my opinion. They could have said, they could have been playing the Kanye West song that we all know about, that everyone gets banned if they play it. So I won't play it, but we all know about that Kanye West song. So they could have been playing that, singing it, and all those guys down there would be all mad, and they could have gotten into an argument. I don't care what the argument was about. The result was them beating these two people to a pulp. We live in a civilized society where freedom of speech is a thing. Now, do I think people should go running around singing that song? No. No, that's probably not a good idea. But you have the right to do it. We live in a civilized society, or we're supposed to. Send these people to jail, make them work. This goes away.
And I saw an extraordinary press coverage she gave where she tried to be blaming social media. That was the real problem. The problem wasn't this violent brawl in which so many people rounded on this guy. I don't really care how it started. Whatever it started, it ended with a horrific act of mob violence.
Completely W take on Piers Morgan. I completely, wholly agree. It doesn't matter what was said. It matters what the result was, and the result was ugly.
Then you have a woman punched unconscious, could have died, like you said. But the real problem is social media, apparently, amplifying the wrong narrative about this. No, we know what we saw. And whatever built up to the moment, we then saw a horrific mass number of people rounding on one guy and a woman knocked cold. And we also saw so many phones out. You know, what has happened to our society? We have this in the UK as well. When the first thought of people, when they see a woman knocked unconscious, who may be dead, is to take a phone out and record it on their phone and then post it on their social media for likes. That is as sickening as almost any other part of this. None of them, apart from one person, call for help. One person with a woman who might be dead on the ground.
Well, and it's...
That is really rough, though. One person, again, I'll stay consistent in saying that you can't blame those people for not calling the cops, because if someone did and they got caught calling the cops, they would be next. But yeah, if there is traffic on the road, people need to get to work. That's probably the only reason why it happened, is because some selfish person, it's like, oh, I hate this traffic, I need to get back to work. Hey, 911, there's someone getting beat to a pulp, you need to get down here. That's probably really who the person that called was.
Still not clear
Or
yet,
not.
Cheryl, if the one person was in the bank of cars that was being pushed back to traffic that couldn't come through because this mob was blocking the way for those cars. So there were people inside those vehicles who were also witnessing this.
Yeah, and did nothing except film, to your point. You know, and that police chief coming out and saying this is social media journalism, and she was pointing her finger at the reporters in the room, I thought was so disrespectful. And by the way, this police chief, it was just recently sued this year by 4 lieutenants in her own department for discrimination. They are 4 white lieutenants that are also.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
Suing her because they say that she has done nothing but promote minorities and women ahead of them, and they're actually taking her to court.
Something tells me she's not going to last that much longer. Maybe 2.5 years ago, yeah. But not today.
Over it.
Well, you know, the humanity aspect, obviously, only 1 person in 100 called the police. What does that tell you about humanity today? But beyond that, there's been a lot of frustration saying, online at least, of saying that if the races were reversed, the coverage that this would get, the immediacy of the coverage that it would get, it would be enormous. And there's statistics to back that up. The Washington Free Beacon did an examination.
Okay, Fox, we'll listen to your statistics.
Both pre-George Floyd and post-George Floyd.
Oh, well, of
looked
course.
at 1,100 articles from 6 major publications and found that post-George Floyd, the media was much more likely at a much significant amount to report on white offenders than they were on black offenders and naming the race. And so I do think there's documented evidence to prove that a lot of those dynamics have changed post George Floyd.
Fucking obviously. I could have told you that and saved you a bunch of money. You didn't have to do a whole research study to find that out. Every Walmart American could have told you. Oh yeah, of course. That's not what a big fucking surprise, everybody. Oh my God. They only report, or they prioritize reporting on white versus black crime, or white on black crime. But when black on white crime happens, they're really quiet. Oh my God. We just found this out? How much money did we find? How much money did we spend to find this out? $4 million, sir. What the fuck, dude? We could have just walked into a Walmart and asked Oh my God.
But yeah, it's to see what we saw. Does it even matter the how and why of how it started?
Well, it does if we want to keep
Doesn't
it
matter
again, because Cincinnati.
No, it doesn't matter. What matters is the repercussions that these people get, if any repercussions happen on these people. That's what matters. Because if people see that these guys get serious prison sentences, this stops.
It seems a bit out of control, and to Emily's point, there were no cops around that could stop it right away, and then there were no emergency services for 6 minutes. I mean, that woman was out. That's a lot.
Where are social police officers? In other words, the public, who you could rely on in the good old days to see a scene like that and rush to that woman's help.
I can't remember his name, but that guy in New York City with the subway where he choked that guy out. That guy is, in my opinion, he's a public servant and a hero. He helped the world that day. The world is better without that asshole causing the ruckus on the bus. Like, I'm sorry. I'm tired of living in a society that is essentially afraid of 1% of the population. Lock them up, make them work, or just get rid of them. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm tired of living in a society where we're all afraid of just such a small minority of bad people.
What's happened to social police work?
Daniel Penny. Yeah, Daniel Penny.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
and then you find yourself in a criminal court facing murder charges.
Or even what they did the Ferguson effect for police officers. I mean, police officers have even been fearful to do their jobs post Ferguson.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a U.S. citizen like me, and I see cops getting in trouble for enforcing the law, what happens if I am in a situation and I had the choice of helping someone but I'm also enforcing the law, but I'm also hurting someone and helping that person. Because that person is hurting that other person. What do? Am I supposed just to let it happen and just call the cops? Hey, just so you know, this person's hurting this person. I can't do anything. That's what I mean, that's what Washington people would expect me to do. Forget that shit. If I see a grown man hit a woman, and nah, man, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna get off this tangent. I'm just mad at that guy who hit that woman. That was wrong.
Emanuel said that, Democrat Rahm Emanuel.
But this was like this was gleeful, wasn't it? This was gleeful recording. We're enjoying this. Look at this.
Correct.
Give me a like.
The worst of us.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely disgusting and absolutely despicable. I think every single one of those guys should be going to jail for murder charges or attempted murder charges or attempted manslaughter. Definitely at least assault, aggravated assault, battery. Just charge them to kingdom come, put them in jail and make them work. That's what I think should happen.